Hey guys, how's it going? And happy Thursday. I hope you guys are doing good today. Hopefully you guys are a little bit warmer because it's like ice and I'm going to be out salting tonight afterwards, but good to see all you guys. So the title of the stream, we're going to talk about insurance. We're going to talk about all the different things that it's going to help you with, but something that's been concerning a lot of you guys. What if you had to use your firearm for self-defense? Could you go to jail? Possibly. Could you go to civil court and lose everything that you've ever worked hard for? That unfortunately happens a lot too. So I have Perry Orth. He's from Right to Bear Insurance. I've talked quite a bit with him behind the scenes, and I'm going to have him come on here and share some information with you guys. So he's going to explain a little bit about Right to Bear, a little bit about self-defense insurance. And if you guys have any good questions, we're going to open it up probably the second half for you guys' questions. So hopefully you guys have a good time. And I think this is an important topic that we should all talk about. How's it going, Perry?
My man, how's it going?
Besides that, I'm cold out here in Michigan today. I'm doing good, man.
Yeah, no, I tell you, that's a tough part of the world to be in this time of the year. I think the only time that I was in Michigan ever in my life was around this time of the year. It was maybe 2018. It was maybe late February.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Florida, and then now being in South Carolina, I was not ready for what hit me when I was up there for some sales training. But it was cold, needless to say.
Oh, yeah, and I'm going to be hanging out with you guys in mid-March in South Carolina, so I'm looking forward to heading down there to warm up at the gathering event.
Can't wait, man. Can't wait. We're excited. We're excited to have everybody there. Hopefully everybody on the call will join us.
I was just going to say that this is open to the public, guys. There's one day for media where we go early, but I'm planning on hanging out on the public days, and we'll talk about it more on the channel. But you can come say hi to Perry and me down there in South Carolina.
That's right.
So, Right to Bear self-insurance. Do you just want to talk briefly about what is self-defense insurance and a little bit about your company?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm excited to share. So self-defense insurance and Right to Bear, as we are the newest player in the self-defense insurance market. And, how we were birthed was I was actually the insurance agent for Palmetto State Armory. This is how all this got started. And had a meeting one day, and we were just talking about why they weren't doing their own insurance. And the next thing you know, they brought us in and they said, hey, we want you and your partner to come on board and start a self-defense insurance company. And so what self-defense insurance is, if you are carrying, if you have a firearm at your house and you ever plan to use it in the sense of in a self-defense incident. My wife and I, we have a firearm. The reason that we originally purchased it was for self-defense, right? We got a nice little house. We want to protect each other. Got ADT security, right? But somebody comes in and we have to use our firearm. We know two things are going to happen. You're either going to jail or you're getting sued. And a lot of times it's both, right? So what we have done is we've tailored this insurance program to cover civil and criminal defense, which means that if you need an attorney, we can either give you one or you can choose. And we'll talk about why that point is so important in a second. And then we also, like you talked about, we also cover the civil damages, right? If you lose in civil court, and I want to talk about this really, really important example, which hit really close to home about 3 weeks ago, where you could literally lose hundreds of thousands of dollars off of simply defending yourself. Guys, we live in a litigious world where the lawyers only win, and they win in the gray. And a lot of times you can claim self-defense, but if you got a far left prosecutor that wants to come in and bust you up and try to throw another bang on the Second Amendment, throw another bang on gun rights, this is where Right to Bear steps in and defends those who choose to defend their family and choose to stand their ground. And that's why we started Right to Bear to offer that type of coverage. Partnering with PSA, we've loved their mission. They want to put affordable firearms in the hands of every American, right? They talk about they are promoting freedom with the sale of every single firearm. Well, our motto is, what we stand by is we ensure freedom, right? We are partnered with a 2A insurance carrier They're an AM Best A-rated, $2 billion plus in assets, financially strong, but they love this country and they love the Second Amendment, and having an insurance carrier partner backed who will support us, will support you, will support everybody that chooses to join our program. It gives you a peace of mind for as low as $10 a month. And I'll tell you, when we start diving into our plans, the silver plan, which is what I bought, which is our second tier, $20 a month, $500,000 in civil and criminal defense, civil damages, psychological support, expert witness, multi-state coverage is included in the plan, no deductible. It's just straight pure insurance. And, I'm excited to talk about the differences between us and USCCA and US Law Shield, and the reason why the insurance is better than PrePaid Legal, which US Law Shield is, and a couple others. And we're excited and we're thankful that they were already in the space to offer gun owners something, but we just believe that the way our policy is structured is better, and we'll dive into it and continue on.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know about too, because I told you in the past, I have opportunities to meet a lot of people in the industry, and I'm not here to knock anybody, and I know you're not either, but some of these other, I guess we'll call them competitors loosely, after they explained their plan to me, I said, well, this just seems different than insurance. Like, I'll tell you this, we're talking about snow and ice. I have a snow plowing company, mow lawns. I have general liability insurance. And it's basically like I'm purchasing, a nest egg of money, and that money will be used to compensate for damages, legal fees, if an accident were to happen or I were to damage property. A lot of these other groups, it didn't quite seem that way. It almost seemed like I was kind of joining a club or a training program. And it might be good for some people, but I felt more comfortable with insurance. So can you kind of explain the difference here?
Yeah, absolutely. So, not to bore you with the crazy insurance terms, but insurance is all about indemnity. Indemnity, that term indemnity, means to make somebody whole, to make them as if the accident never happened, right? So you're not going to come out on the positive, right? You're not going to make money from being in an incident, but you're also not going to lose money from being in an incident. It's to cover and make it as if nothing ever happened. Well, PrePaid Legal is you take your money, you put it in a pot, and if you ever need an attorney, they will appoint you one of their attorneys, right? But it's not insurance. They just have somebody defend you from, the fund pays for your legal defense, but it doesn't pay for any damages or judgments that would be awarded if you were to lose in some, you might lose or you might win in some aspects of civil court, right? Like you may not owe X amount of dollars for the shot that you hit the individual in the leg, but you could owe for the mental anguish caused from the incident. Well, those legal reimbursement, those legal prepaid legal companies, they're not covering that. And guys, that's way, way more expensive than the actual defense cost, right? Because something like that could be settled in a couple of hearings, like relatively quick. So the attorney fees, they're going to be expensive, but they're not going to be backbreaking in the sense of your life is over. Well, when you lose and your damages are $175,000, that's steep. That's where you go like, oh, dang, I have to turn my house in because I was defending myself and some jackass decided that they were just going to invite themselves in.
Yeah.
And you guys know how these prosecutors can spin things.
And I would note too, there's a difference between criminal and civil. Criminal, right, you have to be found guilty beyond any reasonable doubt. Civil, it just has to be a preponderance of evidence. So you'll often see, just in the past, we'll just say O.J. Simpson. That's a famous one everyone's heard of. He was found innocent in the court of law criminally, but then was found guilty in civil court. Now, I'm not saying his case would tie into right to bear. I'm just giving you guys a famous example of a lot of times you can be criminally innocent, but still found civilly liable, right?
A lot of times that's what happens in these cases in our studying and our research. And that's why, listen, we had the opportunity to choose whatever platform we wanted to. We basically said, we were told we want you to start a self-defense company. How do you want to do it? Do you want to do prepaid legal? Do you want to promote unlimited legal defense? We'll cover your attorney, right? Or do you want to do insurance? Well, we were insurance guys. We never wanted to insure somebody and say, yeah, we'll cover unlimited defense. Well, we cover their defense. They lose in civil court. They get stuck with $120,000 bill, and they come like, guys, I thought I had self-defense insurance. No, you had prepaid legal, and there's literally hundreds of thousands of people out there that have no idea that they don't have coverage for civil damages.
And yes, and criminal is different than civil. And that's kind of what hit home with me, where I decided you guys would be best for my wife and I, because I'm like, well, hold on a minute. Just the burden of proof is so much different. You can sometimes actually have the district attorney decide not to press charges criminally because they've read the police report, they've read the sworn affidavits of witnesses, and they're like, yeah, we're just going to drop this because we know we can't convict this guy. And prosecutors want to get reelected, so they don't take cases they're going to lose usually.
There you go.
Just by your lawyer showing up. A lot of times the criminal case can be over, but then the second lawsuit starts when they say, well, you did wound Timmy's leg when he was trying to kill you. And then that's where right to bear come in and also cover that civil lawsuit attorney's fees, right?
Yeah, that's right. Looking at this question from Loner Wolf down here, I didn't really think about it, but actually renters and home insurance do not cover acts of self-defense or anything to do with a firearm. And that's another major reason why we started Right to Bear is we're insurance guys. When we were doing our research, we saw that and we're like, oh my God, wow. Because at first we were like, oh, this is a policy that you might not really need. But after doing that research, like if you have a gun right now and you do not have some type of coverage, whether it's an insurance policy with Right to Bear or an attorney fee or a network of attorneys that you subscribe to, you're left all alone. I mean, we could be on the phone right now and someone could come in easily. It happens literally all the time. I was on the phone yesterday with a partner of ours who he had somebody to come into his gun store, and 2 weeks ago literally shot somebody in the arm because they came into his house. The guy didn't press charges, thank the Lord, but that was when he was like, oh my gosh, I need to do something, because what if he would have? What if I would have had to pay $70,000 cash, by the way? They don't do financing for civil damages, right? They just take your house. They just take your car, right? Yeah. And they don't say anything.
Yeah, because you don't get a court-appointed attorney for civil. You don't. That's criminal that you have that the government. But here's the thing, guys. You don't want a public defender, in my opinion, in a criminal case. Yeah. So
we have, and that brings me to it. Appreciate you kind of teeing that one up for me. That brings me to another great point about who we are and what we do at Right to Bear is we don't pigeonhole you, our insured, into using our network of attorneys. See, what happens is when you get into our network, really what that means is we're going to have a network of attorneys that's on retainer. We're going to pay them our rate. So does that really mean that you're going to get the best of the best attorney to defend you? So do you really think that they're paying $500 or whatever the rate is to retain the top attorney in your area, part of their network? I can answer that question for you. No. But if with our policy, you can go out and choose whoever you want. You can go, if you're in South Carolina, you can go and pick the best of the best defense attorney in our state to defend you. And we're going to pay up to the policy limit that you select. That's the beautiful part about insurance.
This isn't like that some doctors' offices won't take Medicaid because they don't pay out as much as, say, Blue Cross Blue Shield. And I think that's what you could find yourself into with some of these prepaid legal. So let me ask you it this way and see if I have this right. Say I had $500,000 in coverage per incident because I had one of your higher plans. And I chose to hire this bigwig lawyer that just wins every one of these type of cases because he's awesome. And he's $1,000 an hour, whereas maybe the going rate for a small town lawyer might be $500 an hour. Will you guys still pay him that $1,000 an hour? I'm just going to burn up what I have in my policy quicker, or how is that going to work?
That's right. You choose them, we cover you up to the policy limit that you've purchased. So you can listen. If you want to spend what is that? You said 1,000 an hour. If you want to spend 500 hours with this guy hammering through your case,
Yeah.
by all means.
Okay, now what if I don't want him to spend the full 500 hours and I want to budget some of my money? And obviously your counsel would be guiding you guys if you, God forbid, had to go through this. But what if we wanted to hire an expert witness that lived in California that's just known throughout the industry as he's an expert in self-defense? Could we pick any expert witnesses out of those funds that we have available?
Absolutely. That that is included in our plan. Because I know how important that actually can be to have an expert witness testify on your behalf. We believe that was extremely important. And then the other one that was extremely important to us was including multi-state coverage. Listen, we know a lot of people carry their firearms across state lines, right? I go down to Jacksonville, Florida to visit my parents. I've got my gun on me. We stop outside of Jacksonville to get some gas, and I'm confronted at my car, right? And I have to defend myself. Coverage extends across the country. The 3 states we can't offer coverage in, and it's not because of us. It's not because of any other competitor in our space. It's just the way it is New York, New Jersey, and Washington State. Those attorney generals and the directors of insurance have decided that they didn't want to protect the citizens of that state that own a firearm. So what they do is they just ban the product. So anybody that lives in those states right now, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and it's really, really upsetting.
So that's not you guys just saying, screw those people in those states. I know you guys aren't like that. It's literally, they've made it where you guys can't legally offer insurance there, right?
We will literally lose our license.
Okay.
If we sell that policy in those states.
And I see some good questions, guys. I am taking some notes here. We're going to ask him in just a few minutes. So
real quick.
Yeah.
I see it says Washington State here. It's allowed. I
US
would
Law Shield.
US Law Shield. So
that's not insurance, is it?
Yeah, that's not insurance. But if you have any type of article, or any news clipping that promotes that Washington has lessened their hold on it, then please let us know, and we'll go back to those directors of insurance and see if we can renegotiate, because the way our policy is written is we don't and I want to be upfront and honest with people. Our policy will defend you in criminal court, but if you are convicted of a crime and you've gone through the judicial system, which I still believe in this country is fair. I know not everybody, there's a lot of left-wing prosecutors, but if that's the case, we cannot provide coverage for a convicted criminal. That is against not state insurance law, but that's national United States insurance law. You cannot insure criminal acts.
And that was one of the questions I had. Somebody said, I heard there's some companies that will make you reimburse them if you're found guilty criminally. I don't think that's really a company policy. I just think it's against the law to insure a criminal act, right?
Yeah, that's not a company policy. That is a nation rule of insurance. You cannot do that.
But yeah, So how about this? So you could have any lawyer you want, but there's some people that don't have time to know about lawyers. What if you don't even know what lawyer to call, and you're already a member and you guys have a 24/7 hotline? Call 911 first, then you can call the hotline. And what if you're just like, I have no lawyer, I don't know who a lawyer is? How do you guys help with that?
Yeah, I'd love to explain how that process would work. Is that, inside of your member portal on our website, once you go to purchase a policy, or on your member ID card, which you'll be able to access from your member portal. You can download it to your phone. You can print it, whatever you want to do. Call that number. The first question that number is going to ask, that the receptionist will call it, that will ask, is they'll say, hey, have you been in an emergency? And you'll say, yes, I have. I need to speak with an attorney. I don't have one of my choice. They will say, okay, great. Let me forward you to Mr. Whoever. We've got our own in-house group that we can utilize, whether it's outside of the insurance company or inside of the insurance company. You call that number, they push you to one of our attorneys, and they answer the phone and they hold your hand through the process. And if they've got to fly to your state to visit with you and be there the next morning, it's a drop in the bucket. And that's why we chose the route that we did, because on the flip side of your question is, what if my next door neighbor, what if my dear friend who lives 5 minutes down the road, and I have a great relationship for him? What if, let me play devil's advocate here. What if you had one of the competitor's products and you had an incident and you said, oh, I can't use my friend who I know and trust, that I know is going to have my back. I have to use one of your folks. And they say, yeah, we won't give you coverage unless you have to use our attorneys, or coverage is off. I don't like that style. Not for me.
You guys will help them find an attorney if they need one.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Put them in touch with somebody.
Right then and there. Once they call that 24/7 claims hotline, have you been in an emergency? Yes. Do you need an attorney? Yes. On the call right there, they're going to connect you with the attorney.
Now, what if you say, I need you to get a hold of my attorney, and his name is John Smith, and he's on Smith Street in Monroe, Michigan? Will they reach out to that attorney too if they need to?
Yes, absolutely. And so then after that, once that initial connection is made, then Mr. Smith, attorney in Michigan, works directly with insurance company, leaves you out of the bustle, right? You just shot somebody, for God's sakes. The last thing you need to be doing is worrying about connecting insurance companies and lawyers and working on payment. And it's right there. Obviously, you want to be in the mix to know what's going on with the finances and your coverage and all that good stuff. But
okay, so people are asking a couple nuts and bolts questions in here.
Let's do it.
Are you ready for a couple of those? Mm-hmm. So if you go to their page, guys, there is a link down in the description of this video. If you guys were to sign up and you want to use that link does give me a little credit, which ends up going back into the channel like I do with any of this stuff, guys. So feel free to use that link in the description. You're going to see pricing plans there, okay? And they're going to start at bronze, silver, gold, up to the platinum. Somebody just asked about immediate family. I see an add-on that says spouse. So can you explain that real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So our policy covers the individual, and you can add your spouse at a very, very minimal premium. So if you have a bronze plan, it's $48 for the year or $4 a month to add your spouse to your plan.
Okay, and I think it's like $8 for the gold, which is your second to highest.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Okay, and then there's some devil's advocate questions, which are fine. I don't want to get into the weeds too much, but
no, let's do it.
But a friend of mine in here, Bantucky, says, I don't know. I see a $50,000 cap on bail coverage. My current does $500,000. Now, he's not saying who his current is, but I don't know what that really means exactly.
No, I do. I mean, the other company that he currently has offers more for bail. Well, that's great, and I know exactly who you're talking about, and that's another one of those legal what do you call it? Legal network groups, those prepaid legal groups that are going to cover your legal defense. And they only have one plan that's $500 plus for the year that covers civil, but none of their other plans do. So unless you want to have civil liability, you have to buy the big meat and potatoes, where silver plan, gold plan for you, $33 a month for up to $1 million in coverage, and you're getting defense and damages at every level, no matter what. I'll take that one.
Yeah, exactly. And then Mr. C, I think it was, he had the same question that I've had written down for a week. We always talk about self-defense. We think firearm. What if it's your hands? What if it's a baseball bat that you have handy? What if you use a knife to defend yourself? Is that still covered, or does it have to be a gun?
So right now, actually, that revision is currently being underwritten right now to add to our plan. But right now, it is strictly a firearm policy. So here in about 3 months, it will be a strictly all legal weapon self-defense policy.
That's good. I like hearing that, because that was a concern of mine. I mean, I'm not going to draw my gun first if I have to defend myself, unless I think I have to. It's all situational. All of you guys have to be responsible, but there could be an instance where I could protect my life with literally my hands, and in the process of defending myself, cause that person some damage that they could later sue for. So I thought that was a concern, you know. So you guys are going to work on that. When that happens, will that just be rolled into everyone's existing policies, or will they have to sign up for something different?
Nope, that'll be rolled in. It'll be automatically included, and that literally was in discussion this afternoon about how long it's going to take for that endorsement to be added in the policy. But that will be added before the next time that we talk. I can tell you that.
And I think it should be. That's awesome to hear that you. And look, guys, they're a sister company is the best way to explain it with Palmetto State Armory. JJE Capital holds multiple businesses. This is all public record. You guys can look up. So them and Palmetto are basically of the same lineage. And if you know anything about Palmetto State Armory, they're literally constantly innovating and constantly like trying to do better and better and better. And that's kind of what I've seen in you guys just in the month since I've been familiar with you, right?
That's right. That's right. And that's the great thing about where we are is we're 2.5 months old. You know, we got out into the market, started producing, started getting our name out there, started getting questions like this. How are we supposed to get real feedback and questions without getting out into the market and doing live podcasts like this or live streams like this? Like, these are great questions. I love reading them. Because all I do is I sit here and I take notes myself, and then I can go back and say, hey, this company's doing this. Actually, Mr. Smith from, the live stream on Wednesday night at 7, he said this. And I was like, that'd be a great idea to add that. We've already done that with our plan, right? Yeah. We've already added, when we launched, we've already added psychological support and expert witness. That was not in the policy that we partnered with to start, but we added it in because we saw there being an enormous need for it, right? Just like we're going to add in all legal weapons. Just like New York, New Jersey, and Washington, we're getting ready to partner to offer a personal liability policy that does not exclude firearms. So we are going to have a workaround and be the only real insurance provider that offers insurance for home, work, and play that does not exclude firearms for your liability. I mean, when we roll that part out, we'll be one of the probably fastest growing companies in this country, because there are so many people in those states that are dying for coverage, real insurance coverage, right? And we're going to be able to supply it to them. Those are all being worked on right now. It's so exciting. If there's ever a time to partner with somebody, and if you're looking for an insurance policy to cover you and that that's backed by a 2A company that's underwritten by another 2A company, somebody who's not going to just bend over and say, oh, we'll settle, or, that's not what we're going to do. When you're right, you fight. And that's what we believe in.
Yes. And that was another thing I was actually just going to bring up. A couple questions in the chat, guys. There's a link in the description. If I have a moderator here that can grab that and throw it into the chat, not just the generic Protect with Bear, guys. It actually helped me out. Look, I'm not trying to sell you insurance. I'm not an insurance agent. I'm actually think this is a good solution for my family. I wanted to share it with you guys. But if you did sign up and you used my specific link that is in the description of this video, it would also help out the channel. I'm trying to help you guys with good information.
That's right. Make sure you use his link. That way, that way, it helps out the show. It helps out the promotion. It's a great opportunity for you to learn about the competition and what's out there and give you the choice to buy.
Yeah, exactly. And trust me, guys, there's been like no less than 5 other companies that have said, we'll work with you and get you a link and stuff. And this is the first one that I've ever actually, after talking to them the initial time, that I actually believed in. So you guys can take that for whatever it's worth. But I've had talks behind the scenes with Perry, and it actually started before that. I started with Josiah, one of the 2 brothers that founded and formed Palmetto State Armory. Mm-hmm. He's the one that gave me that exclusive behind the scenes tour I brag about to all you guys. And Josiah is not just like an affiliate of mine. He's actually become a personal friend. And when Josiah said, no, dude, this is like legit. This is our family. This is Palmetto that's starting this. And, then I met Perry, who we're hanging out with right now. So I actually know some of the people like in real life behind the scenes with us. And that's why I just wanted to bring it out to you guys so you could at least become aware, right?
That's right. That's right.
Now, these plans, guys, this is real simple. I'm seeing tons of questions in the chat. Some of this stuff, and I know this is new to you guys, so after we get off here in a few minutes, go over to their site and digest. Click on my link if you don't mind. Look at it. It's in nice, easy columns, guys. So basically, you're getting the same types of coverage. It's just essentially the amounts change when you change the color of your plan. Is that a good way to describe it?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. The bronze, silver, gold, platinum, obviously we know how that increase goes. But yeah, the more coverage you get, obviously there's higher premium. I'll tell you, I selected, and I know you said you were gold. I was a silver just based off of my financial standing and what we felt like was best and what we felt like we could afford. $20 a month. I mean, you waste nowadays with inflation because of our brilliant commander in chief. You're spending $23 at Jason's Deli in downtown Columbia.
The former vice president. People ask me this all the time, Perry. They say, why do you call him the former vice president? I'm like, well, it's simple. Because he is the former vice president. This is Lamy here. Lamy's a big mascot on my channel. And look, guys, if I was just at the shop, I obviously wouldn't need self-defense insurance, obviously. With Lamy here, no one's going to mess with me. But I have to leave the shop sometimes. So, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, I want to see if this individual will respond. The Jiffer, they say CCW has the best coverage because they're not an insurance policy like all these guys. I would love to know why you think that CCW has the best coverage. I have heard other people say similar things, but I have not seen it for myself. I've done the research and comparison, and I don't see the difference of how their plan is better than, say, what we're offering. I would love to know and be educated on that.
And here's how, look, guys. I'm going to use it. They're not the same company, but they're of the same lineage. If Palmetto State Armory sees a competitor beating them a little bit, usually they come in and kind of step up and beat them back. So when he's asking you guys these questions, it's because they really want to be competitive. And I know that's how, again, Jamin and Josiah, that's just how they think. They want to offer good solutions. So here's my next question. When you look at these plans, guys, to me, it's easier than most companies. It's literally, they offer the same coverage, guys, the same types of things that are covered. Just how much do you want to spend or can afford to spend versus what is the cap? What dollar amount will they cover? Other companies, like, it's not just that the bronze, or let me say it, I said that backwards. It's not just that the gold covers more money than the bronze. Some companies, you have to go to the gold to even get different types of service, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we didn't do that. Unfortunately, a lot of folks like to focus on the minor bells and whistles and the things that don't actually, that aren't exactly they're focusing on the wrong things, right? They're missing the fact that with our policy, you get a choice of an attorney. Those guys, no, you're using their attorneys, whether you like it or not, or you don't have coverage. 2, you lose in civil court, which happens more than you lose in criminal court, right? Especially when you're doing things the right way. You're left on your own there. With us, that's not going to happen. That's built into every single one of our plans. We have a bronze plan, right? You say up to $50,000, that's not going to cover. It's going to get you some coverage, right? If you don't have 20, 30, $50 a month to spend on protecting your family, we can do it for 10, at least get you some coverage so you're not completely losing your shirt, right?
Exactly. And what if like, say, partially into the term, because here's how I look at it. You guys do save a little money if you buy a full year up front with right to bear. So if you just take like the monthly fee and multiply it times 12, it's a little cheaper if you pay for it per year. But what if I'm partially within, whether I paid for the whole year or per month, right? What happens if I decide I want to change coverage partially through? Can you go up? Can you go down?
That's right. Yeah. Inside of your member portal, you have the ability to go up and down, right? You can change your tier, you can change your payment, whatever it is that you feel comfortable in doing.
Can you just do that once or like once a year? Or?
No, you can make as many changes to it as you'd like. Obviously, it wouldn't make a ton of sense to do that, but yeah.
No, I understand. I just was, sometimes literally you're allowed to do it once in your whole life, for certain things like this. And look, guys, I'm reading the chat. I'm looking for good questions. This is what I'm just going to say in my opinion, guys. Look, he does want to know information about other companies. He's taking notes, but at the same time, I get it. There's always some devil's advocate. And this is kind of like, if I'm doing a tourist review, the Glock people are going to come in and say Glock's better. The Smith & Wesson people. I know some of you guys have like your company, and it's very clear in the chat that you guys think they're the best for you. I'm not here to rag on any of those companies. I just personally felt more comfortable with Right to Bear. So I don't know how much you want to talk about some of this stuff, but I'm kind of just, you know, if there's a company that you love, I'm not going to tell you that you should like hate them or go pound sand. I just wanted to talk about Right to Bear because I think you guys have better policies that are easier to understand and your straight insurance and things like that.
That's right. I see a question. Is your company an actual insurance company or an insurance policy? So our company is an agency. The policy is underwritten by an insurance company. So Prime Insurance is the underwriting company. So they're the ones that provide coverage. They're the 2A company, AM Best, A-rated, $2 billion in assets. Their CEO is one of their head claims adjusters, right? That's going to sit there and fight with you in court. Didn't get any better than that. He was the one who preached, if you're right, you fight. And we stand up and defend those who chose to defend themselves.
And he's a gun guy too, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh, yeah. They're all gun guys. That's the best part about it is we're all gun guys. We're not attorneys sitting behind a desk with a bunch of, with a black suit and tie on. We're gun guys that have a passion for the Second Amendment that we saw an enormous need for another player in this space. And that's how and why we started Right to Bear.
Yep. And then this one question I think I can answer. Tell me if I'm wrong. How would you cover an adult children? Well, if they're an adult, they would probably need to buy their own policy. And if they're married, they could have their spouse on, right?
That's right. You nailed it on the head.
The site's really, really easy to read, guys. Now, this is a question I had earlier from Bill Alexander. He's a Marine Corps veteran, fellow Michigander here. So shout out to him.
Mm-hmm.
He said with how new the company is, basically, how many people have you had to actually represent yet?
So
I'm
none.
kind of curious.
We have not had to represent anybody yet.
Okay.
And we want to defend our people, and I don't want to say this the wrong way, but we hope that we never have to, right? We hope that nobody of our insureds ever is put in an incident like that, but we know that is coming. So we don't have a story to provide yet. But the one thing I'll tell you that should give everybody peace of mind is with our insurance company, our insurance carrier partner, like handling a claim, they handle hundreds of claims every day. They literally are a $2 billion insurance company that we have an incident, we have a claim. It's not going to be earth-shattering news, right? It's not going to scare them to like, oh my gosh, what do we do? What do we do? Right? They handle stuff like this all the time. Maybe not self-defense per se all the time, but I know that they have. I know they've handled a situation. So we have full trust in what they're capable of doing, and that's why we hired them to partner with them.
Well, that's how you guys got like partner with Palmetto JJE is because you guys were their insurance company before, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we were their insurance agent before, and then we saw an enormous need for something like this in the market. And PSA, like you said, they're innovative. What are they doing that nobody else is doing? No, none of the Glocks and the SIGs and they're not starting their own self-defense company. They're staying in their lane. This is what they do. But the guys at PSA are true visionaries, and they're one step ahead of the game. And here's the thing: in 5 years, when we start developing brand loyalty, like I see all these people are so passionate, which I love about the company that they chose. Right? They chose this company. They chose that. In 5 years, there's going to be a lot of people on this show that are like, man, I'm glad I have Right to Bear. They do X, Y, and Z that nobody else is doing, right? Like I already told you, when we roll out in New York and New Jersey and Washington with real insurance, not a network of attorneys, it's going to be really, really exciting.
Exactly. And I'm just browsing the website, guys, using that link down in the description there. And I'm looking here, like I said, just different prices, different amounts of coverage. I see a couple add-ons that are interesting. I'm looking at compensation in court. Can you run that over real quick? What that is?
Yeah. So if you're stuck in court and you're having to miss work, it's basically a lost wages endorsement. $35 for the year. So $3 a month, basically, maybe a little less. If you feel that that's something that you absolutely need, that's why we have it there to add on. We didn't believe that it was a hot button for it to be absolutely included. And hey, like we've been talking about all night, 12 months from now, it might be 12 months. We may say, let's add that into the premium, right?
Exactly. But I kind of like add-ons. Let's go over the next one. And here's why I like this as an add-on. In some states, they don't allow bail bondsmen. So let's look at bail bond reimbursement. And there's some people specifically talking about all sorts of numbers with that. Can you touch on that real quick?
Well, yeah, I mean, 50,000 was the amount that was given to us to promote by our insurance carrier partner. They believe, now other people might differ. You know, I'm in a blue state. We start bail. You know, they believe that $50,000 would do the trick.
Now, keep in mind, I'm not a lawyer, guys. This isn't legal advice, but I know a little bit about this stuff. When they set a $500,000 bond or $200,000 bond, it's usually 10%. You usually don't pay for the whole bond completely out of pocket. I mean, do you have anything to say on that, or is that getting into legal stuff?
No, I mean, you're right. I mean, that's why we didn't believe the 50,000 was an insufficient amount of coverage. Especially the other thing too is that if you do everything the right way, there are so few criminal cases that come up from instances like this, because if it's truly a self-defense, the percentages show that they're not slamming you behind bars. Now
you're not getting this huge, like look, guys, here's the thing. I'm sorry, I kind of interrupted you, but
no, you're good. Go.
Here's how I'm looking at this, and this is just the way I've casually observed a lot of things in the legal system. Normally, they don't look. If a guy's like committed 10 different murders before, he's probably not going to have a legal self-defense case because he's probably a prohibited person and all these other things. They don't normally give somebody $5 million bail, 10% due, which would be 500,000. Unless they're like a huge international flight risk, unless they have ties with the mafia, organized crime. You have to be like a big wig from what I've seen in real life to get that kind of bail. That's just an observance.
Yeah, that's right. No, you're nailing it on the head, man. That's it right there. Is if you're doing things the right way, then having right to bear would give you all the more peace of mind to know that everything's going to be just fine.
Yeah, and let's go with the last thing, because this is kind of interesting, I'll just say. Accidental discharge. That sounds like a differentiation between self-defense. What's that all about?
So accidental discharge, obviously, if your firearm is accidentally discharged, that endorsement would cover all the property damage caused from that issue. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
okay.
It's just a rider. It's an additional rider onto the policy that a lot of people have chosen that. A lot of people have had an instance where their gun has accidentally discharged and they've had issues with it. And so they feel the need that if they purchase small endorsement on their policy that in the thing with accidental discharge is that doesn't have to be in relation to a self-defense incident. That could be middle of the road Wednesday afternoon and you're in the backyard or you're in the house or you're in the shop and something bad happens and you bust something up. We're going to provide coverage.
Yeah. And here's another question. I'm just going to maybe take one or two more questions, guys. I think we've covered quite a bit. Denny's plant-based journey's asking, he says, I'm with Texas Law Shield. I've met the former ATF agent who works this region of Texas. He would be the guy who helps as an expert, plus attorneys to choose. How does right to bear compare? I think you must have come in late, but do you just want to hit that real quick?
Yeah, I would love to. So US Law Shield, they actually require you to use their network. Our policy, we give you the option to choose an attorney. So I believe that is to be a big advantage. We also, we do have our own attorneys that if you don't have one in your back pocket, that we can appoint you with one of ours, but we don't say, if you don't work with one of ours, you have no coverage. That right there is enough. I would pay $10 a month more than somebody else just so I don't have to have that happen to me. Then you add in the civil damages and civil judgment. I'd pay $20 a month more to have that, which when you compare the pricing between the coverage that I believe that is adequate, which is the silver level, the gold and platinum is high. It has a lot of coverage. The silver plan gives you adequate amount of coverage for most individuals for $20 a month, where there are competitors that are not covering civil damages that are charging $12, $13 a month.
Yeah. So tell me again if I have this right. Here's how I look at this. Remember, guys, it's not just criminal. It's civil. It's a lot easier to lose in civil court than criminal. So with all that said, because I know there's guys that have just come in, so I'm kind of repeating myself. Basically, however much money you make and however much money you're worth is probably how you should step the tiers up. So, because this is how people sue. They do discovery, it's called. The opposing lawyer will. If they find out you've got $5 million in the bank and you make $800,000 a year, they're going to sue you more. They're going to put more resources into that lawsuit against you. So if you have more tangible assets to lose, you should buy the higher level insurance because you're going to have a harder fight. What do you think about that?
That you couldn't have said that any better.
So
I have nothing to add.
And they can't get money from a dry well. So if you're broke as a joke, you're probably fine with maybe even the bronze. The silver seems to be, the most comfortable for most people, or the gold.
Mm-hmm, that's right. Yep.
And then
silver and gold have been the most two popular plans. Let me answer this one question here real quick, because I think it brings up a good point. We touched on it from Band Talk. Have you built your own network of defense attorneys that you could tap into as an existing resource? Yes. To answer your question, yes. We have attorneys that we have built a network through relationships.
Yeah. That
if we need somebody, we can call on them as a resource, and obviously as somebody to defend one of our insureds.
And some of this stuff, guys, if you're just coming in, I just suggest you go back and watch the replay, because we definitely covered a lot of these questions we're getting right now in detail earlier. But I do want to make one more statement in response to a comment I got here. And somebody said, well, you should never need to have insurance to ensure your natural rights. Look, guys, our rights were endowed by our Creator. No, I'm not advocating that you need insurance to exercise your rights. I'm saying we're living in a society right now where it is what it is. And people are very litigious, meaning they like to litigate, which means they like to sue the crap out of you. People want to know. That's why we're talking about this. And I wanted to give you a chance because I saw your press release when San Jose made it mandatory to have insurance. I thought I saw you guys put out a statement that said, we're vehemently against anybody ever mandating insurance.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, guys, let's be real. Let's put yourself in my shoes for a second. When that comes out and you see that, you thinking like, man, we're about to make a bunch of money, right? No, we stand on our principles and our values. We're 2A company, right? We stand for the Second Amendment. I mean, for God's sakes, we're partnered with one of the best companies in the country when it comes to making and selling firearms. So we stand against that. Now, the unfortunate reality is that San Jose now has passed it into law. So unless it gets shot down in court, come August, the folks of San Jose, they're going to need some protection. And there's a lot of people that are misleading them, that are saying that they can get that through their home and their renter's insurance and their umbrella policy. And they can't. But you know where they can get it? They can get it at Right to Bear, because we're going to protect those folks. But we hate the fact that it's being mandated. It really pissed us off. And
I could tell by your press release or statement that you put out, and this has happened in the industry before. Okay, we've literally had like large manufacturers like literally get in with legislatures to create gun control laws to snuff out their competition. Is there any chance Right to Bear is going to get with state legislatures and try to make them pass mandatory insurance?
No, That is ridiculous. If
I
that
couldn't even
even,
ask it with a straight face, but I had to play
if
devil's
that,
advocate.
if that ever was found out, Jamin and Josiah would fire my ass faster than I could count to 5. So I can, I like my job. I like what I do, and I plan on doing it for a long time. And
Yeah.
I would rather organically grow and do it the right way than do some bull crap like that.
No, I was just asking the question because people want to play devil's advocate sometimes. Look, guys, first of all, these are actually pro-gun people that are all through the chain here. Like, I literally asked you some, I don't know, if they were goofy, if they were tough questions. I'm like, but hold on a minute. Who cares if Josiah's a pro-gun and Jamin, and who cares if you're pro-gun, which I do care, but you know what I'm saying? I'm like, what about the actual company behind the curtain? Because we know there's ultimately multiple layers with insurance, and you told me they're pro-gun too.
They are pro-gun. They are extremely pro-gun. It's cool because they've already been offering this product for years. They just haven't had a vehicle or a partner to really expand their policy. And that's what we're doing. So,
yep, I see one more last thing here. And guys, go back and watch if you just come in. But Lord of the Black Book, as far as I know, lawyers do depositions. So again, your lawyer would be in charge of how they choose to do their depositions, as far as I know, whether it's online or whether it's face-to-face. With Right to Bear, it's this simple. Use the link in the description, guys. Go look at it. There's columns. You get this much amount of coverage for this much. If you can afford a lawyer with the coverage that you have, yeah, have a good lawyer. Pick whatever lawyer you want, or you can use Right to Bear's network of good lawyers that they know. And yeah, pick a good lawyer. Pay them the money out of your insurance that you have, and talk to your lawyer and have them dispose however they should, right? I mean,
that's right. That's exactly right.
And ultimately, this is going to be your relationship, guys, when this happens, if it happens. I hope this never happens to any of you. As far as I know, your relationship with Right to Bear is going to be pretty simple. You're going to call the hotline. You're going to say, lawyer, his name is, or you're going to say, lawyer, I need one. And then your relationship is going to be client attorney related, client attorney privilege. I don't even think you're going to need to talk to Right to Bear at that point, right?
Well, Right to Bear will facilitate that connection between you and the attorney. And then after that, all we do is we're there to hold your hand and see if you need anything. And our attorneys and the insurance company will take it from there. And we're there to help and help and guide. And I don't ever want to say this, but I'm looking forward to the first time that we're able to show our true colors and stand with somebody and defend them and protect them. It's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great testimony to who we are, and it'll be a great opportunity for the nation to see our hearts and what we're about.
Okay, so you guys have heard quite a bit of information here. One last question. What's the risk they have? What if they decide 6 months from now it's not for them or whatever? Are they signing a long-term contract? I mean, how does that work?
No. So if you decide that you want to, you have it, and you decide that it's not something you want anymore, you can cancel at any time. You're not going to get refunded because you can't refund insurance because we provided coverage from the time you bought, which, by the way, policy starts the second you click pay now, goes all the way through, and you can cancel at any time. But I don't recommend doing that. And the last little piece before I go and everybody starts running, we give when we didn't start with this, we want to educate you on what the policy is and who we are and how we can fix the need that is out there. Check us out on the website. Go through the link in the description and check out. We give some pretty cool discounts to PSA.com after you purchase one of our policies. So if you purchase a platinum policy, you'll get up to $100 off at PSA. You buy insurance, get $100 off, and go get the new dagger, and now you've protected yourself twice with a firearm and insurance.
And that's basically, somebody was asking about that over on Locals. I would liken that to kind of like a digital gift card. You're going to get a code essentially immediately, and you can use it same as cash at PSA. And there's, like I said, just follow the link, guys. It's pretty easy, really, as far as how the pricing structure and all of that stuff with PSA with the promo works. All right, cool, dude. Well, I think we had a good talk, and if anyone's just joining, feel free to come back and watch from the beginning. I think we pretty much covered most of it, don't you?
Yeah, we hammered through it like we were joking about an hour ago. How fast that went! I mean, boom, it's over. So
It did go fast, and we've even gone a little longer than we expected. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you being here, man. Thanks for sharing all the info and, helping ththese guys out.
Yep. Looking forward to you guys joining. You got any questions, shoot us an email at info@righttobearinsurance.com. And we're excited to protect you guys.
All right, cool, guys. Thanks for watching.
See ya.
And have a good one.